Good evening, everyone. My name is Louis-Jame, and this is Data Mining for Business. Today, I'm here to share with you the result of my analysis on the OkCupid case study that I was tasked to do, and the approach I took. Let's take a look at the today's agenda. I'm going to tell you about the task, the approach. The approach is, I would say, not just one, and how I executed. In our content, we got the exploratory data analysis, EDA for short. We have the data cleaning. We have the data enrichment. And we have the insight at last. At first glance, I took a look. I noticed I was provided around 60,000 records and 22 fields in the data set. And I run a few codes for some further analysis and just to see if there was like some information that wasn't relevant that I could get rid of. And sure enough, I started by cleaning the NAs. I removed a lot of NAs, not all of them. And after that, I removed some irrelevant columns, because what I noticed, there was some information, some columns of information, some fields that are not really relevant to what we were looking for. Therefore, I decided to remove them. And after the removal, I start seeing some little insight, like the ratio male to female, the income, and other insights, like the age. I noticed that it was a relatively young crowd. As you may see, my peak here lands into around 30s, people in their 30s. So we have not a lot, but I got a few outliers, but they're not very significant. We can say we got a very young crowd. And when it's come to the income, so the income of the users, as you may see, we have an average income of over $100,000. We had a few outliers, like you can see, we got some in the millions. But I decided to keep them as well. And then I want an analysis on education versus income, because I wanted to see for myself how the level of education impact somebody's income. But one thing I noticed, someone with a high school diploma or who frequented high school only, you can see there's non-high schooler in the millionaire's income. I said to myself, maybe it's a good thing to stay in school. That I will share to my children. And I move forward. I check on the sexual orientation. As you may see, look at the straight people graph. It's really surpassed the gay and bisexual by a long margin, by a big margin. And I was a little bit puzzled to notice, without being judgmental, but to notice there are like a few married people in the crowd. that might ask for some further analysis if we want to know why such things is happening. And next, I look at the location of the users. As you may see, around San Francisco, California, this is where we got most of the users. And I would say California in general hold most of the users. But around San Francisco, that's where we get the peak. Therefore, any business model, any business decision that would follow this analysis should focus into the San Francisco area. And after we can go to Oakland and Berkeley. So, but in general, California is the state where we should focus everything. That's my latest insight. So, if I may recap, as I mentioned, it's a relatively young group of people. Where is the age? Young group of people in their 30s, and income-wise, the average is, the mean of their income is a little bit over $100,000 a year. I would say a bit well off. And education, it's a very educated crowd. At least everyone, it seems, has a high school diploma. And it's a mostly state crowd. And also, the cluster, if we want to talk about the cluster, it would be in San Francisco, California, followed by Oakland, California, and then Berkeley, California. So as I mentioned, if there is some consideration to be made regarding following that analysis, emphasis needs to be put on San Francisco, California. And remember, it's a more straight crowd, and it's a well-educated crowd because at least everyone has a high school diploma. So that was my finding for the analysis. Thank you for listening. Appreciate it. See you next time.